Happy Friday, Incarnate Word. Another edition of the Weekend Roundup.
Yes.
Wonderful week, busy week.
Mm-hmm.
All Saints Day.
Yeah, All Souls Day. November's a good month.
It is. It's a holy month. It's a month we celebrate or commemorate those who have died, and just call us to be reminded of the end of life and to be prepared so that we can be with the saints in heaven and pray for all the poor souls in purgatory. Fun fact: if you visit a cemetery during this month and pray for the dead, you receive a plenary indulgence.
Yeah.
So I always try to do that. Go visit JB Cemetery, see my grandpa there. It's a great opportunity for us to do, and one of those spiritual works of mercy to pray for the living and the dead.
Yeah, no, it's I think sometimes we sanitize like death. I don't know if a lot of kids. I'm not saying like go take your children out, but I don't know how many kids have been in a cemetery, really. And just to pick a family member who is buried in a cemetery, take your children, just as a reminder to pray for the dead and to connect with the people who have gone before us. I think is something that maybe we've kind of lost as a culture often.
And again, we as a Catholic faith know that death doesn't have the last word. It's not the end of our lives. We know that there is a life that is greater than the life we live on earth, that we are hopeful to be a part of. But the irony, of course, is that death is the gateway to that. And our Lord, by dying, showed us that we can receive the empty tomb, just as he did. So, this is something that's just an essential part of our faith. It's not something it's not something that we should be overly and illogically scared of. This is part of life.
And it will happen.
And it will happen.
It's good to
Father Time is undefeated, as they say. Well, anyway, wonderful week this week. We had our All Saints party with our IW moms for all of our little kids. That was after the 8:30 Mass on Wednesday. It was quite a lively 8:30 Mass because all those little ones were there.
I think Pope John Paul II, there was a
Yes. We had baby Pope.
Yeah,
like baby Mass. Yoda. Like we had baby Pope. It was
great.
It was like awesome.
Yeah, he didn't make any pronouncements, did he?
Did not make any.
Nothing
that we could understand. Who knows? It could have been Polish. I don't know.
Right.
For JP too. But yeah, that was really cool. We got the Gayla coming up.
Yeah, it's a week from tomorrow. Oh my! Wow. Yeah. There's live auction items. There's raffles. You can participate in the silent auction and in the raffles, even if you're not coming to the event. That GiveSmart site is up and running, so if you want to take a look at things and what's listed there, please do. Yeah,
it should be an awesome time. We're excited about it. Tomorrow, in the meantime, we have our massive remembrance. That'll be 10 a.m. on Saturday, November 4th. If you would like the name of a loved one who has passed away to be read at Mass, you can contact the parish office or get there about 15 minutes before Mass to add that name to the list. And then a reception afterward will be held in Bollinger Hall.
And we have a book of remembrance in the vestibule that we will pray for all the names in that book throughout the month of November, so you can write your loved ones' names in there as well.
Another reminder for this weekend, daylight savings. So set your clocks fall back an hour. Saturday night into Sunday morning, we get an extra hour of sleep, which is always nice.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
Good.
It's going to be awesome. Donut Sunday this weekend. Get excited. You have an extra hour of sleep and donuts. Why not? Why not come to Mass? It's awesome.
So Vincent de Paul will be hosting.
Yes,
not the saint, but
not the saint
society.
But the society.
The volunteers. Yeah,
need to make that distinction.
Well, you never know who shows up around here.
Exactly.
Blood pressure screenings after you get the extra sleep. You eat your donut. Get your blood pressure taken.
When your body is not firing on all cylinders. It'll be really, really good blood pressure reading for
in the library. Jonah Prayer Ministry will be happening after the 10:30 Mass this weekend.
Yep. And then Alpha is also going to be starting up this coming Tuesday, November 7th. You can register by calling the parish office. Should be another great round of Alpha this year.
Yeah, and then I read that was Mariah Carey in a block of ice or something, and they broke her out of it, and she started singing her dreaded Christmas song.
I did not see this.
Well, anyway,
there was Christmas music on in one of the stores I was shopping at yesterday.
But we're not much better because we have the Christmas giving tree. But it's for the kids.
It's for the kids, and part of it is also that some of these things need to be collected somewhat early in the season by Thanksgiving, so that they can be distributed to those in need. So the Christmas giving tree is up. This is not us trying to circumvent and short circuit Advent. This is just because these things need to be done somewhat early in order to get to kids by Christmas. So the giving tree is up. You can grab an ornament in the gathering area, and there are more details in the bulletin.
Yes. And then we had Madeline Victoria Payton, daughter of Tyler and Kelsey, was baptized by her uncle, who's a deacon.
Yep.
Last weekend.
Yes. And then we had a couple other baptisms as well. Elsie Rose and Evie Marie Handing, daughters of Daniel and Rachel. Congratulations to them. And then Stella Wellner, daughter of Alex and Tammy. Mm-hmm. So congratulations to all of them.
Yes.
All right. Readings this weekend.
Yeah. I am going to preach on sort of like the experience of, I'm sure we've all had it, like when feel like you're talking to a brick wall.
Yeah.
You know, and like when you walk away from talking with someone, you're like, I don't think they heard a word I said. So this is kind of what Jesus, it's his last sort of confrontation with the scribes and Pharisees before his crucifixion. And what Jesus does basically is he has tried everything to try to break through to the religious leaders, and they're unreachable. So now Jesus changes his focus to say, if I can't save you, I need to at least save the people who are being misled by you. And you just kind of reflecting on, at a certain point, Jesus has to shift and try to save those who are open to him still. And for us to take a moment as we reach the end of the church here, we need to realize that there's a sort of like time running out element, and we need to be willing to look inside and say, are there ways that I have become blind or hardened to how God keeps reaching out to me? So just sort of a real simple introspection of saying, in what ways am I like the scribes and Pharisees, where I say, nope, this is the way it has to be. I'm not open to change. I'm not open to correction. And Jesus lays out the simple path, and that is humility. You know, don't go looking for recognition. Don't go trying to get approval from others. Just worry about being pleasing in the sight of God. That's sort of his message for this weekend. And the warning in the first reading and in the gospel is quit worrying, quit trying to be prestigious in the eyes of others. Just be pleasing in the sight of God. And that's kind of what we hear about in both readings.
Yeah, I'm going to talk and key in. Jesus talks about how the scribes and Pharisees, they widen their, they wear all their phylacteries and whatnot. And he specifically says they enjoy the salutation rabbi, or they enjoy being called rabbi. And I found that interesting in reflecting on it this week, that they enjoyed being called rabbi without actually living in a way befitting of that title. They enjoyed the title, they enjoyed being called rabbi, but didn't actually want to live in a way that was worthy of it. And I think for us, the parallel that I'm going to make is so many of us are called Catholic. There's many people in our society who call themselves Catholic, but don't live up to the demands and the responsibilities of living an authentic Catholic life. And even, you have some Catholic schools, that call themselves Catholic, who aren't really any different than just private schools. You can look at everything from universities to hospitals and all these things. Like, we should be known for our Catholicism more than just simply because we call ourselves Catholic. It should be evident by how we live our lives rather than what we call ourselves. I had the privilege yesterday of anointing a wonderful lady named Alicia, and it was at a nursing home. It was assisted living, I should say. And you went into a room and you could just tell that it was a Catholic person that lived there. She had a whole corner of, pictures of the saints and pictures of Our Lady and little statues of the Sacred Heart. And this was someone who very clearly wanted other people to know that she is Catholic, and not just because she was called it, but because it was there in her room and it was a meaningful part. She had EWTN on the TV, and she didn't even know I was coming at that moment. So this was just something that she does. Like, no, this is who I am. Not just what I call myself, this is how I live my life. And I'm just going to talk about how we need to live an authentically Catholic life more than just calling ourselves Catholic. Because that moniker of I'm Catholic, it should mean something. And unfortunately for a lot of people, it doesn't. There's no indicator of how that person actually lives, because, Catholics are just as likely, whether it's to get divorced or, contraception, other things, that just like as anybody else. And it should mean something. It should be something different.
Yeah, the thing that's in name only, that's kind of always
a little bit. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that because I don't think that title. There's other reasons why I don't like that title, but but it's true. We need to be able to, have it be more than just a title for us.
One thing I thought that was interesting, I'm not preaching about it, but with Jesus condemns the behavior of the scribes and Pharisees, but he tells people to still
he recognizes their authority.
Yeah.
He recognizes their authority. And again, for us, we have been given far more than sitting on the seats of Moses to be a successor of Moses. We are sons and daughters of God by adoption. And that's a far greater title than what the scribes and Pharisees had in the Old Testament. And so it's something that we need to live up to.
But I think what I see sometimes people do is, there's always, because people are sinful, including us, priests and bishops, there's a temptation to say, you don't do what you say, so I dismiss everything.
Yeah.
And Jesus is kind of saying, like, hey, they may be horrible examples of scribes and Pharisees, but you are still you're still bound by their authority. You're still bound to follow what they should be doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's just something in our culture, with cancel culture and with our tendency to say that person's a hypocrite, therefore I dismiss everything.
Yeah.
That's sort of a cop-out that Jesus...
Even a broken clock is right twice a day. But I would also say we can't let the sins of others become an excuse for ourselves in order to sin ourselves.
Yeah.
And Jesus is very much calling that out to the people. Like, yes, they might not be living up to what they are doing, but that does not mean that we have a right to be able to just say, to heck with it, I can do what I want. No. Yeah. Yes, it's scandalous what those scribes and Pharisees might be doing, but that should not be an excuse for us to fall into sin ourselves.
So challenging readings.
Yeah,
kind of keep kind of being this sort of, they're going to have this edge to them.
Yeah.
Up until we start Advent. So.
Yeah. Well, we're also going to get to some of the readings that talk a little bit about final judgment and whatnot here in the next few weeks. So whether it's the virgins who are prepared for when the bridegroom comes and all those other things. So there'll be some interesting readings coming up here the next month.
Yeah. All right. Well, have a great weekend, and we'll see you at church.
Yeah, we'll see you at church this weekend. God bless.
God bless.